Dallas of the Seahawks. So you got two members of the Seahawks who, again, play against Wentz on Monday night, are voting for benching Wentz. And I will just mention, if you're wondering, is there a connection here with DK Metcalf? He played against Jalen Hurts twice in college. And Alabama, when Jalen Hurts was the quarterback, won both games by a combined 118 points. RC, why are you holding up your hands?
Because it just hit me. They do know Jalen Hurts. They're smart. They're scared. Good Carson might show up. So, you know what? Never mind. You keep going, Greeny. I see what they're doing. I didn't see what they were doing before, Greeny. I see what they're doing now. I get it.
We'll see. Yeah. Dominique, in your mind, just watching it play out. Now, I will get to Graziano and explain the details on the money and everything, but putting all that aside, do you believe if you were the coach of the Eagles right now, you'd be giving the ball to Jalen Hurts?
I don't see when you're going to do it if you're not going to do it now. Carson Wentz last week was an ugly game, and the weather was part of the factor. The protection was part of the factor. But there's no excuse for that pass. That was just, like, inexplicable. And week after week, we talk about his bad decisions. And maybe you don't have to give the whole franchise over to Jalen Hurts, but I feel like a week off would allow Carson Wentz to kind of regroup and think about his play and maybe get back, because you can't get much worse than the way that he's been playing. I don't understand why you draft a quarterback in the second round after you already paid a lot for a quarterback at all. But if you're going to do it, then go ahead and play him.
You know, Desmond, you would have an interesting perspective on this, having covered Jalen Hurts, both at Alabama and then that huge year that he had at Oklahoma. How do you see it? Do you think they should be seriously considering giving him the ball right now?
Well, let me first start off by telling you what RC hesitated and then stopped about. The point is, no player in the NFL wants to give their opponent a competitive advantage. No player wants to do that. So what those other players like DK Metcalf was saying was like, yeah, please let him start. Bench Carson Wentz.
Exactly.
Like RC alluded to, is that the great Carson Wentz just might show up. Now,
when the last time you seen him?
Guy in college.
When the last time? Somebody tell me the last time you seen Carson Wentz.
No, I'm just saying that hey, when you have an opponent who said, yeah, start the other guy, it's never because they want to give you a competitive advantage. That's never the reason. Hey, start the guy who we think is better. Now, they don't do that. They like, start the guy who we know we'll have even a better chance of beating. That's what that meant. That was a subliminal message.
That's right, and that's fair. But, RC, the question that Dominique just asked is a good one, too. That great Carson Wentz, when's the last time we saw him?
Oh, he gone. He not there no more. He moved. He don't live in Philadelphia. He can go.
Pennsylvania? Okay, so that then perfectly sets the table for my insider, Dan Graziano, because you are going to explain how all of this is a lot of conversation that ultimately cannot go anywhere. Dan, tell everybody why.
Because if Carson Wentz is gone, then so is everybody else in Philadelphia, right? If they can't get it fixed with Carson Wentz, then they're all going to get fired at some point, because he is locked in there. We talked about this yesterday. That contract is keeping him on that team through at least 2022, unless they can find somebody to trade for it, which the way he's playing seems very, very unlikely. So, you know, you talk about $24.5 million or $25.4 million guaranteed next year, a $15 million roster bonus in 22 that becomes guaranteed this coming March. They have to get it fixed with Wentz. And to Dominique's point about drafting Jalen Hurts in the second round, teams don't just draft for 1 year. They didn't draft Jalen Hurts thinking, well, if Carson Wentz struggles, we can put this guy in and play. They have to develop him as a player. Peterson has come out and said this would be sending the wrong message to the team. He's watching Hurts practice. The team is watching Hurts practice. If that's the case, then that means everybody in the building knows the guy isn't ready, and you can't afford to be losing games at this point. So as bad as he's looked, they still think Wentz is their best option given the track record.
I understand drafting for value. I understand drafting for value, but that just seems like hood-rich roster management. Like, why are you out here buying a second car when you ain't got no food in the fridge? Why are you buying Gator boots and a pimped-out Gucci suit when you can't pay your rent? You got an E-Class, but you can only afford a quarter tank of gas? Chill out. Get some stuff that can help you right now. None of that can help you right now because all your contracts are in your mama's name because your credit is so bad. Put it together.
In its own way, it's gotten a lot less attention, but it's not that different than what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers, right? The Eagles were a team that we thought was close, and they used a major asset on someone they're not counting on helping them win this quickly. All right, we'll leave it there, but we'll come back to this. I think there's a lot there left to get to. But right now, it's something we look forward to all week. Here come RC's tweets.
All my money.
It's time for Ryan Clark to explain his tweets.
Get in the gym, bro. Well, I just got buffalo chicken dip. Baker.
Bruh. Lord. As everyone laughs at the way I read your tweet. I can't even do it with a straight face. Here we go. Ryan Clark is the most entertaining follow on Twitter, and now everyone is going to find out why, as I will read some of these tweets and RC will explain them. Here comes number one. Pressure bust pipes, especially old rusty ones that have had a lot of wear and tear. Just can't handle the pressure they used to. Crap just goes everywhere real quick. Not a pretty sight. INT Rand. RC, explain that tweet.
Hey, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Listen, Tom Brady's always been not the best under pressure, but it's gotten worse as he's gotten older, and that's what we're seeing with this team. You look at the 4 games that he's played against good pass rushers, and Tom Brady has just let the ball go everywhere. It's just been crap here, crap here. You need plumbers, you need maids, you need housekeepers to come and clean it up because he can't do it. And that's why Bruce Arians is frustrated. Bruce Arians is frustrated because he thought he signed up for the new house. He thought he signed up for the mansion, the thing that had everything working well. But that's not who Tom Brady is. So they need to figure out a way to work with him to find things that he can do well under pressure, under the lights, in game time. And that's not what they prepped for, but that's what they got.
Listen, you were saying some variation of that after that very first bad game against Chicago, so you've been onto this longer than anybody else has. All right, tweet number 2. Here we go. I legit don't get how Phillip Rivers throws some of these footballs. It's crazy, man. The hop, sidearm, T-Rex, same foot, same hand, loop-de-loop, drop-in bro. RC, explain that tweet.
Have you ever really looked at Phillip Rivers throw the ball? And I was listening to the broadcast this weekend, and they were trying to explain to me why he throws the football like that. It was like the football was too big for everybody when they were little. And nobody else has ever thrown the ball like this. This dude throws the deep ball. He hops and pushes it off the same leg and the same arm at the same time. But here's what's crazy. He's been balling. Look at Tennessee. He was going crazy. Go back to Green Bay in the second half. He's dropping dimes. I'm talking about it's dadgummits everywhere. It's Mickey Fickies. It's son of a biscuit eaters. It's mothers forgot the cooks. It is all kind of words that he is throwing in for curse words while he's talking trash to the other team because Phillip Rivers is balling. I thought that this was a bad decision because I thought this team was one Andrew Luck away, not one quarterback away from being good. But they got their quarterback, and it may look funny, and it's slow, and even when he limps, he looks as fast as when he's healthy, but he is playing ball.
He is, and they got a huge game with the Titans this week. I like that one very much. All right, here comes the third one. Here's the one everyone on Twitter was begging me to read. Here it comes. Carson Wentz plays like a man that only accepts dare when playing truth or dare. Dang question could be, do you eat pig lips? And he'll be like, nah, I'm with the bungee jump off the bridge without the bungee dare. That sounds better. Bruh, it's YOLO all day long. RC, explain that tweet.
See, man, y'all call it hero ball. I call it daredevil ball. Carson Wentz wants to do the hardest thing. He wants to do the impossible. He wants to do the improbable. He's like, oh, that dude's open? Boy, but look at that dude that's covered by 3 people. I'm going to throw it in there, and they are going to love it. That's who Carson Wentz is. That's who Carson Wentz has been. Carson Wentz does these things because he knows that Dan Orlovsky is going to do 17 touchscreens on Get Up on Monday morning if he completes that pass. He knows that Dan Orlovsky is going to go and draw it up and say, see, right here, when Carson saw the dude wide open, he said to himself, I'm made different. I studied this both biblically and educationally. I'm going to make this throw. See, that's what he's doing. Instead of just taking the simple play. And that's why now we're talking